Hello again, and thanks for joining me today. In this episode, we'll be making our way to the Vanderbilt estate and highlighting the family's legacy on Long Island. We'll mainly focus on William Kissam Vanderbilt II, or as everyone called him, Willie K. Motorheads tend to believe him to be a true American icon, a man who literally paved the way for modern driving. Let me tell you about his life, the Long Island Motor Parkway, and more importantly, the Vanderbilt Cup. Think early F1, but on Long Island dirt. Now, when you hear Vanderbilt, you automatically think of old money. Willie K was the great-grandson of the railroad magnate Cornelius Vanderbilt. Born into immense wealth, he was somewhat of a restless spirit who wanted to make his own mark on the world. He was an avid yachtsman who owned two famous vessels, the Ara and the Alva. The Ara was a 213-foot diesel yacht that was originally a refitted French warship, and he used it for extensive voyages, including a circumnavigation of the globe from 1928 to 1929. The Alva, named after his mother, was even more impressive. This 264-foot motor yacht, built in 1930 in Germany, was a floating palace. It had a gym, the ability to carry a seaplane and accommodations for a crew of 50. After the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, Vanderbilt donated the Alva to the U.S. Navy, where it was converted into a patrol gunboat and commissioned as the USS Plymouth. Sadly, the ship was torpedoed by a German U-boat in 1943 off the coast of North Carolina and sank in just 2 minutes. Willie K was also a dedicated naturalist, and he brought back thousands of specimens, marine life, birds, and artifacts from all over the globe. He truly wanted to see and collect it all. But let's not forget his need for speed. On January 27, 1904, he cemented his reputation as a fearless and talented driver by setting a new 1-mile land speed record at the Daytona Beach Road course in Florida. Driving a 90-horsepower Mercedes, he reached an impressive speed of 92.3 miles per hour, an absolute world record for land vehicles at the time. Now, his greatest legacy for U.S. motorsport enthusiasts started with a race. In 1904, Willie K created the Vanderbilt Cup Races, the first major international automobile race in the United States. His goal? To show the world that American cars could compete with the Europeans and to push the limits of speed. The inaugural race was a brutal 10-lap, 285 or so miles event on public dirt roads in Nassau County, drawing massive crowds that often got dangerously close to the action. This race was the first of 6 official Vanderbilt Cup races held between 1904 and 1910, creating a legendary series that defined early American racing. 18 cars from across the globe competed. The winner was an American, George Heath, driving a French Panhard at an incredible average of 52.2 miles per hour. American entries like the Pope Toledo went head-to-head with international powerhouses from Mercedes and Fiat. The drivers were a mix of pros and wealthy amateurs, all pushing the limits of speed and technology. The race was also big business. Entering a car cost $300, and officials spent thousands to spray the roads with petroleum just to keep the dust down. For spectators, it was a major event, with some paying up to $25 for a good view. The crowds were so out of control that officials were forced to stop the race early for safety, cementing the Vanderbilt Cup Races legacy as a wild and legendary beginning for American racing. But after a spectator fatality in 1906, Willie K knew he needed a dedicated track. And that, my friends, led to the birth of the Long Island Motor Parkway. The Long Island Motor Parkway was absolutely revolutionary. Built between 1908 and 1911, this wasn't just any road. It was the very first long-distance highway in the U.S. built exclusively for motor vehicles. No horses, no pedestrians, just pure, unadulterated speed. Stretching about 45 miles from Flushing, Queens, all the way to Lake Ronkonkoma in Suffolk County, it was a marvel of engineering. At a reported cost of over $6 million, they built 65 overpasses and underpasses to eliminate dangerous intersections. It was also one of the first concrete highways in America, so you can imagine the kind of impact it had on the world of transportation. The lore of this road is just as interesting as its construction. As a private toll road, drivers would pay a hefty $2 toll. Now, how much is that in today's money? That would be $67 for the privilege of a smooth, dust-free ride. The people who collected these tolls lived in amazing rustic lodges designed by none other than John Russell Pope, the same architect who later designed the Jefferson Memorial. You can actually still find some remnants of these buildings scattered around some towns, especially in Garden City. And get this, during the Prohibition, the road earned the nickname Rum Runners Road, mostly free of police. Bootleggers used it to transport illegal liquor. The Motor Parkway eventually closed in 1938 due to the rise of public roads, but its impact was huge. And today, while you can't drive the entire 45 miles, you can still find its remnants. Portions have been converted into awesome bike and pedestrian paths in places like Cunningham and Alley Pond Parks in Queens, as well as Peninsula Boulevard in Nassau County. And a significant stretch in Suffolk County still exists as County Road 67, also known as the Vanderbilt Parkway. It's pretty wild to think that this forgotten road laid the groundwork for the highways we use every single day. Okay, side quest time. That wall on the right is the museum, but there's a beach at the end of the road that I want to check out. Let's do that, and then I'll double back and give you guys a tour of the grounds, but you really should visit. And where did he keep all these treasures? Right here on Long Island, at his incredible estate called Eagle's Nest in Centerport. He started building this place in 1910, initially just a modest bungalow on 43 acres. But over 25 years, especially after he inherited a hefty $21 million from his father in 1920, this place evolved, growing into a grand 24-room Spanish Revival masterpiece, designed by the same architects who did Grand Central Terminal, the prominent architectural firm of Warren and Wetmore. We're talking millions of dollars poured into this place, making it not just a house, but a literal living museum for his incredible collections. You've got wings here dedicated to his Hall of Fishes and Habitat wing, all purpose-built to display his loot. But Willie K wasn't just about land and sea. He was a true futurist, even getting into aviation early on. Right down by the water here in Northport Harbor, he had his own seaplane hangar. This massive concrete structure built in the late 1920s housed his personal seaplanes. Imagine flying right from your front yard. It truly highlights his embrace of cutting-edge technology and his love for all forms of speed. Given that this place is a museum, I could not film inside, but downstairs you can find a room with some of his old cars and a ton of memorabilia from the Vanderbilt Cup Races. Another portion of the house can also be visited under the escort of a tour guide. Oh, let's not forget the planetarium. I highly recommend the show on the local night sky. Today was such a good day, and I'm glad you guys were able to tag along. Days like these are precious, alive and on two wheels. From here, we'll head to Northport to take in some sun, have some coffee, and hopefully meet some other fellow bikers. So next time you're hitting the open road, especially here on Long Island, give a nod to Willie K. Vanderbilt II. This man, fueled by a passion for speed and a vision for the future, not only set world records and built incredible estates, but he laid the foundation for the very roads we love to ride today. He built the future 1 mile at a time. Thanks for watching, and until next time, ride safe and don't stop exploring.